Today is a Eastern Out command.
Hello, Alan. Are you excited? Is hear about Empire Today. Shop at home service. We'll bring samples in your home. We installed next day. Until no payments on the 1st of January 2006. Quality products. Great prices. Only Empire Today.
800-588-2300 Empire Today.
Call for next day window treatments too.